Good day, y'all. Man, I'm beat. But beat or not, I'm going to Oregon City. Going to Oregon City to show you one of the most popular landmarks in the town. Steve the Amateur Historian. A minor setback. Walking through a very historic part of Oregon City. There's just old houses up the yin-yang back there. And now I'm walking past the Barclay House again, as well as the John McLaughlin House, perceivably the oldest, at least one of the oldest houses in this area. I did a video on all the old houses around this neighborhood, and the reason I'm here right now is not to take another look at these houses, but rather I'm gonna take a little trip down a cool staircase over here leading to one of the most prominent spots in the city. About to walk under the streets. Walking under 7th. There's kind of a cool little waterfall down here. This area is under surveillance. Well, guess what, B? I got you under surveillance too. Here it is, the Oregon City Municipal Elevator. I'm gonna go up it. So it's kind of cool. You come down this staircase from up there. Of course, if you're coming from uphill, and it comes down to this cool tunnel space. And here we are at the top of the elevator. And when they built this, they wanted to be able to put all those little things I showed you, like the pictures and icons. They wanted it to be like almost like a mini historical museum. So the upper part, you know, has got this big, you know, kind of space at the top. So it looks, people have compared it to like a flying saucer at the top. So here's a little backstory on the Oregon City Elevator. Now again, this was not the original one. I videoed a little plaque in there, and if you look at it, it says this was built in 1954 into 55. But there was an original one that was actually water powered that was built in 1912, and it was actually voted down by the city, but then they managed to do a referendum and turn that around. And yeah, the original one was actually the other side of the railroad tracks that are down there, and it was cool. It was just like it was just this little tower. It was like its own entity almost. I mean, technically this is its own entity, but it's like it's still connected to a rock wall. You know, when we think of elevators, we either think of them as being internal, like inside of a building, or we think of them at least being up against a building, like on the exterior maybe, but still connected to the building. But the original elevator was actually a little further out, like, and they actually had a passenger bridge that went across and came over here. Yeah, apparently, because it was about the same height as this one. Apparently it took 3 minutes to get up because it was water powered, so it was just kind of like, Then they turned it electrical a few years after construction, and then you can make it in like 30 seconds. This baby makes it in about 15, so, you know, we're really playing with gas now. So yeah, then, you know, ultimately the other one just kind of became antiquated, and they wanted to build a new one. And they intentionally, when they were planning on building a new elevator, they literally said, we want something as plain as possible. I still think it's kind of cool looking. I mean, color-wise, it's kind of boring, but it's a very interesting looking structure, and it's the only exterior outdoor municipal elevator in the whole country. So, way to go, OC. And equally, the Oregon City Bridge here, a lot of people think this is the original bridge and think it's a lot older than it is. I mean, it is almost 100 years old, so it's certainly not young, but this bridge was not the original bridge that crossed here. And I actually, I'm going to show some pictures here of how the original bridge looked. I actually kind of like this original bridge a little bit more. It's got almost kind of like a poor man's Brooklyn Bridge vibe to it. This bridge is still pretty awesome. You know, it's got the single arch. Something you may notice, especially from this angle, is how incredibly narrow the road is. They actually did some reconstruction to de-narrow it a little bit, but you can see it's still really narrow going through there. I'm sure there's been a lot of fenders clipped and whatnot. I mean, look at these guys. They're just kind of gently squeezing past each other. You know, I guess back when they built this bridge, cars were smaller. Alright guys, that just about does it. I just want to do a little quick visit to the cool old Oregon City Elevator, and I'm going to go back down it now, because why not?